people today. They could spend half their lives over 50. That's a lot of living. So it helps to have a wise friend and fierce defender in your corner. A friend like AARP. So your health lives longer.
This is just slow-mo karate?
Just slow-mo karate.
Your money lives longer.
I just bought that.
I just sold that.
And your happiness lives longer. That's why the younger you are, the more you need AARP. Join today.
Welcome to AARP Illinois' virtual event. It's so wonderful to have you with us. AARP is on a mission to connect with individuals across various communities, especially those aged 50 and above. We're here to listen, understand, and address the unique needs of you and your community as we age. Our goal is to enrich your experience by expanding our local activities, providing opportunities for you to discover and engage with all that life has to offer right here in your own community and virtually. As we journey through today's event, we invite you to consider joining our dedicated team of AARP volunteers. It's a chance to make a meaningful impact and help us better serve those 50 plus across the nation. Connect with us and be a part of this vibrant movement toward positive change. Welcome, and let's make this event both fun and transformative.
Hello, welcome everyone. My name is Jeff Scott, Associate State Director for AARP Illinois, and your host for today's AARP Foundation Tax-Aide conversation. We have a special guest with us today, Tom Knoller, who is well versed on the subject as he is the Great Lakes Regional Coordinator for the AARP Foundation Tax-Aide program. Welcome, Tom.
Thank you, Jeff. It's a pleasure to be here today. I've been with the program going on 16 years, and it's always exciting to help more people take advantage of such a great resource. Last year, we helped our taxpayers receive over $1 billion in tax refunds.
Wow, that's impressive. Again, thanks for being here. Today, we're going to go and talk about the incredible work, again, that AARP Foundation Tax-Aide program has been doing since, believe it or not, 1968. They provided free tax help to over 78 million taxpayers with a focus on older adults with low to moderate income. Tom, could you tell our audience a bit more about the mission of AARP's Tax-Aide?
Sure. AARP's foundation vision is to create and advance effective solutions to reduce poverty for and with older adults. Now that's a mouthful, but basically AARP's Tax-Aide program supports that vision through a program of free tax preparation. This not only saves our taxpayers money, but provides highly certified individuals who will stand by them all year long.
Great. Tom, can you tell us why this program is aimed specifically at taxpayers 50 and older?
Sure. First of all, we do help people of any age. You don't have to be an AARP member. However, in keeping with AARP's vision, we seek to help older adults who may not have the resources that younger taxpayers have. Many of our older taxpayers are not familiar with the new technologies and do not have the experience to prepare their own taxes. Also, the IRS has almost eliminated all paper forms and is moving to having all tax returns prepared online. What really emphasized this was the millions of paper returns filed during COVID, and no one was allowed to come to work. Think of all the paper that sat in the warehouse waiting to be processed. Well, these factors force taxpayers to purchase services which many cannot afford. In contrast, our younger adults can often prepare their own taxes using self-preparation tools. The IRS knows this and helps us provide this service with a grant provided by their Tax Counseling for the Elderly program, also known as TCE. We do have some limitations in our program. For example, if you have rental property or a small business with employees or depreciation, we would refer you to a paid tax preparer. We try to focus on tax returns that are most common to our audience, and we just don't have the time to train and certify all of our volunteers in all areas of taxes.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I guess the best part, as you mentioned, this is free. It doesn't require an AARP membership. So if you're 50 or older or even younger, as you mentioned, take advantage of this valuable resource. And Tom will let us know how to get into that in a little bit. But now let's dive into the real details. Tom, what do our viewers need to bring with them when they come for assistance?
Well, as you know, taxes can be very complicated or very simple depending on each taxpayer's situation. There are some basic documents that everyone would need, but many documents may not apply to you. For example, you must have a government-issued ID, of all the taxpayers that are on the tax return. And that would be like your driver's license or your state ID card. You must have Social Security cards or ITIN documentation for all the people on the return. It's always helpful to have a copy of your prior year tax return so that we don't miss anything that should be carried over from a prior year. Income documents that include wages, interest, dividends, unemployment, retirement income, Social Security statement, all those are going to be needed if they apply to you. A healthcare form if you had marketplace insurance. Also expenses like mortgage, property taxes, charitable contributions, property sale, or taxes on large purchases like a car. Records of federal and state income taxes that maybe you've already paid in advance. Any educational expenses for you or your dependents. And then it helps to have a checking or a savings account information for direct deposit of a refund or a direct debit of the balance due. This is especially important as direct deposit is much safer to prevent against checks that can be lost or stolen. And any other recent IRS or state tax document correspondence that you may have had with those entities. Now, this list can seem very scary, but most people, especially older retired individuals, may not have educational expenses or wages or maybe even brokerage forms. You only need to worry about the documents that are specific to your situation.
All right, Tom. So what about income-related documents?
Well, again, this can be very few documents or many documents depending on your situation. Most income documents will be sent to you in the mail and include things like wages, which is a W-2 form, gambling winnings, another W-2G form, retirement income, that's a 1099-R. Social Security is a 1099 SSA, interest, 1099 INT, dividends, a 1099 DIV, state income tax refunds are 1099G for government payments. Same thing for unemployment compensation, a 1099G for government payments. Self-employment is a 1099 NEC, which stands for non-employee compensation. Miscellaneous income, Form 1099 miscellaneous. And then, of course, brokerage statements for things like stock sales, dividends, interest from a brokerage company. Many of these common documents start with the form number 1099. So that's something to help you recognize that they are important tax documents.
Right. What about for deductions?
Back in 2019, there was a major change to deductions. Before that, many people would itemize deductions, gather information about all the different things that they could deduct from their income. This was called itemized deductions. This used to be possibly the most time-consuming thing about preparing a tax return, and potentially the most abused area of fraud. Now that has changed, and the standard deduction was nearly doubled for most taxpayers. Now, most of the returns we see, the standard deduction is higher than their itemized deductions. Keep in mind, you choose one or the other, and you always want to pick the highest deduction that you can get. If you do itemize, you can count things like medical expenses of any amount over 7.5% of your total income. You can deduct mortgage expenses and interest. You can deduct taxes that you pay up to a maximum of $10,000. And you can deduct gifts to charity. Note that there are subtractions and limits to your deductions. This is an effort by the government to simplify taxes and encourage you to use the standard deduction.
Gotcha. Okay, and what about credits and adjustments?
The area of credits can provide significant additional refunds, especially for younger taxpayers. Things like a child tax credit, which is $2,000 per child this year, a dependent care credit for $500, an earned income credit, which can be as high as $7,000, and this is for taxpayers under 65 who work at a regular job. This used to apply to taxpayers over 65 during the pandemic, but Congress has eliminated that for older Americans this year. Education credits, credit for contributing to your retirement, adoption credit, credit for certain electric car purchases. So if you buy a full electric or a plug-in hybrid, you can get a rebate on that. However, this is complicated. It depends on the price of the vehicle and how many electric vehicles were sold by that manufacturer. You can get the Illinois property tax credit. So if you pay Illinois property tax, you'll get 5% of your tax bill back. The Illinois earned income credit, which is something new this year, will now include taxpayers over the age of 64. So you may not be able to get earned income credit at the federal level, but you will be able to get that at the Illinois level.
Gotcha. And then given a lot of information, and I know we put it on our screen here, but where can viewers go to get assistance from AARP's Foundation Tax-Aide program?
Well, right now, the best place to find a tax preparation site near you is on the internet at our Tax-Aide site locator. You can go directly to, and it's a long link, aarp.org/money/taxes/AARP_tax-aide/locations. I know that's a mouthful, and there may be an easier way to get at that. If you go to just aarp.org, our main website, and then click on the little search symbol in the upper right-hand corner of the screen, and then type in Site Locator. This takes you to a screen where you can click on the AARP Foundation Tax-Aide Site Locator. Once you get there, you just enter your zip code, and the sites closest to you will be displayed. Now, our real challenge is to provide this service to everyone who wants to participate. Well, the entire program is depending on 26,000 people who volunteer all their time to not only go to class and certify through the IRS, but then work many hours each week to provide this service for free. Many of our volunteers have been doing this for over 10 years, and we even have a 40-year veteran in our program here in Illinois. We are in high demand, so I encourage you to make your appointments early. If you wait until late March, you may find that there are no more available appointments. And finally, we cannot do your taxes if you are missing any documents. So please make sure that when you are ready to get your taxes done, you have all of your documents together. And for example, most documents are mailed out by January 31st, but brokerage accounts are not required to be sent out until February 15th. So if you have a brokerage account, be sure to make your appointment for the end of February or beginning of March.
Right. So I guess don't walk in empty-handed or with a shoebox of receipts. Be prepared and come for a smooth and efficient experience if you do the preparation beforehand. Come in ready to go. Thanks so much, Tom, for joining us today and sharing all this valuable information.
Well, it's really been a pleasure. We know that taxes can be very complicated, and we strive to help make this process simpler. Our dedicated volunteers really enjoy helping people, and you'll find them very competent and friendly.
Well, thanks again. And to our viewers, remember, AARP Foundation Tax-Aide is here to help you get your tax returns filled out and filed. Again, all for free. We encourage you to take advantage of this fantastic resource. Thanks again for joining us today. And thank you again, Tom, for helping us pass along all this great information. If you'd like to know more information about AARP Illinois, just go to our website at aarp.org/il. Until next time, I'm Jeff Scott. Have a great day.